We've all heard about genetically modified crops in the news, and with all of its publicity, many of you are probably wondering, are GMCs good or bad? Well, first off, what are they? According to a Regents professor from Oklahoma State University, Jacqueline Fletcher,
well, GE crops are genetically engineered crops, and this implies that genes are introduced into the genome of a particular crop species for some targeted purpose.
These crops are modified so the plants become resistant to the insects that normally prey on them or resistant to herbicides, sprayed to kill the harmful weeds surrounding the plants. However, this basic practice of enhancing crops to attain a desired trait is not new. Farmers have been genetically altering crops through artificial selection for centuries. These ancient farmers would select the crops with the best chance of survival and greatest productivity and breed those plants that had the desired traits to ensure their future crops would be even more fruitful. Here we can see differences between several ancient types of fruit and the plants after centuries of enhancement. The difference between the GMCs of the past and the modern ones is that today, scientists have the technology to isolate the genes in a lab, and so the process time does not take generations to be completed. Although the modern type of GMCs have been used for decades, there is still a debate on their safety towards humans and the environment today. According to the article, Are GMO Foods Safe? By Jay Brody, some people believe genetically modified organisms are inherently detrimental, while the majority of scientists and reliable scientific and health organizations do not think there are adverse effects related to GMOs. It is surprising to find more than half of consumers believe GMOs are malicious. Recently, companies have labeled their products with non-GMO stickers due to concerns about GM crops, such as if they crossbreed with wild relatives, the foreign transgenes could contaminate the natural ecosystem. A few other concerns which have not been clearly demonstrated are unwanted changes in nutritional content, the creation of allergens, and toxic effects in bodily organs. However, only a dozen or so types of crops have been genetically modified, and none of them are GM counterparts to common allergenic crops. GMCs have large agronomic and economic returns. According to a meta-analysis of the impacts of GMCs conducted by W. Klumper and M. Kane, crop yields have increased by 21% on average. This food supply increase is due to GMC's higher rates of survival and is necessary because of the decrease in arable lands and increase in the world's population. Also, these crops have helped small farmers take in more revenue, gaining on average 69% more profits, as well as lowered the cost of buying the food for consumers. Furthermore, these crops typically take longer to expire and may even have better nutritional value in some cases. GMCs have also been extremely beneficial to the environment. According to a report on the impact of GMCs on pesticide use and carbon emissions from 1996 to 2015, compiled by Barfoot and Brooks, the overall use of pesticides on crops has decreased dramatically. We can see GMCs have had a smaller impact on the environment than their natural counterparts. This in turn has also decreased the amount of carbon emissions and contribution to greenhouse gases by the crops. This is because fewer crop dusters are needed to spray the fields due to a reduction in pesticides applied, so less fuel is used by these dusters. This table from Barfoot and Brooks' report reveals the large fuel and carbon dioxide savings. Although the use of GMCs has been contested for years, GMCs should continue to be used since they pose no danger to humans and have also proven to be quite advantageous agriculturally, economically, and environmentally. The evidence of their success is all around us and has been for centuries. According to an article on GMO endorsement, the author, Dean Orero, stated more than 3,000 scientific studies have assessed the safety of these crops in terms of human health and environmental impact, and 284 technical and scientific institutions recognize that GM crops are not riskier than those produced by conventional breeding. With all of the scientific research and many positive effects, it is time for everyone to come to the consensus that GMCs are, in fact, good. For more information about GMCs, feel free to check out the full-length interviews and videos featured in this project, as well as check out the research papers and full articles used in this project.